On today's edition of Street Kung Fu, we're going to work on Bruce Lee's favorite technique, the Jeet Keun. Stick around. What's going on, YouTube fam? Sifu Manfredy here once again with my assistant Isaac Jones. Today we're going to work on Bruce Lee's favorite technique, the intercepting fist. Loved it so much he created an entire system named after it, okay? Jeet Keun Do. So we're working on Jeet Keun, all right, in Wing Chun vernacular. Now, we're going to get right to this, all right? It's not that hard of a concept to wrap your head around. It's literally beating your opponent to the punch, all right? So, for instance, Bruce Lee loved using, southpaw versus orthodox, orthodox versus southpaw, okay? So in this case, Isaac's going to throw a jab. I'm going to go straight in on an angle over the top and pop him. All right, so again, he's coming in straight for my face, okay, again, and then I go on an angle, beat him to the punch. Now, as I beat him to that punch, my arm is veering his arm off. So it is technically a parry and an attack at the exact same time. So we'll do it on the other side. Switch for me, please. All right, and he's going to throw it. Boom. Boom. It does not take too much movement from you. All right, all it takes is a minor shift. All right, if you do this properly, it will hit every time. Now, with that said, you're going to need a little bit of fight IQ. All right, fight IQ is you got to be very comfortable in the pocket when you're in combat. All right, you can't be afraid of getting hit. If you're afraid of getting hit, this is going to be a crapshoot for you. So you got to really be in that moment. All right, Bruce Lee loved to say, don't think, feel. This is a form of expression, so you got to express yourself physically right here. All right, so in this particular case, we're going nice and slow. So as I'm doing that, I'm hitting. So I can do it from a Wing Chun guard and hit as I shift, all right? Hit as I shift, all right? Now, the likelihood you're going to come across a Wing Chun practitioner, no matter how good they are in a street fight, putting their hands up in the regular Wing Chun guard, if they do, they just gave away what they know. And the likelihood of them, finishing that fight in good odds without getting, a really bad set of bruises and bumps along with it is very high. You know what I mean? They might even get their butts handed to them. It all depends. We've all seen plenty of videos on YouTube where guys are jumping in the ring. They're not ready for combat in that particular format. I get asked all the time, can I use Wing Chun in MMA? Can I use Wing Chun in boxing? Can I use Wing Chun in kickboxing? Yes, in a way. You can't utilize Wing Chun in its traditional format in an MMA ring. It's sports combat versus street combat. Now, I know there's a whole argument about, oh, yeah, everybody says, it's for the street, it's for the street. Well, the reality is it was designed for the street. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon to, soup these other people up. It was designed for the street. It was designed to do dirty stuff as well. Just because these techniques look nice and clean doesn't mean that combat is not chaotic, and you got to do everything to win. You watch a Bruce Lee movie, and I know it's a movie and it's entertainment, but there is some of his training in there. He hit somebody in the groin. He hit somebody in the groin. He'll grab somebody in the groin. He's going to grab him to win the fight. And I recommend you do the same. Let's say for what it is. It's a fight. You're trying to win. This person can possibly hurt you so severely, you might not be the same after that. So you got to defend yourself, all right? So getting back to it, when you're doing this, you want to not give away as much as possible. If you're trying to settle this guy down, you don't want to go into here. You don't really want to step back because now you've already committed to the fight. You don't want to put your hands up. You don't want to get into this fashion. You don't want to do any of that because now the aggression is just going to keep going. Now, if you're in a passive stance, you know, maybe you got a ring on you're messing with, your watch you're messing with, okay? Just kind of doing this, or even going, hey, I don't want any trouble, all right? Keep in mind, the moment you take a step back with any foot, your opponent at that moment in time is going to get triggered. He's going to see you preparing to fight, and he's going to get even more aggressive. All right? So when you're in a self-defense aspect, you know, in Wing Chun, we stay in a neutral stance. You know, when he throws that punch, I can shift and hit. I can step back and hit as his momentum's coming towards me. I can step off to the angle and hit, okay? Nothing states that you have to stay in a Wing Chun's neutral position, okay? If somebody's consistently preaching you got to stay here and fight, find another instructor. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I've traveled all over the world and touched hands with tons of martial arts practitioners from all different walks of martial arts, and I've never seen a combat moment, a true combat moment where somebody's standing in a neutral position like this, okay? Once the combat starts, it's natural to go back into this stance. Wing Chun is no different. We have an arrow stance. It's the same thing. We put a little more weight on the back so we can launch forward when we need to. You know, and then if you also take into Jeet Kune Do's mentality, you're in almost a boxing / fencing stance. And because Bruce Lee loved fencing, and that's where he got his lunge from, okay? So keep that in mind. Just keep your hands up and get ready to go. You know, stay here when you're trying to calm it down. Hopefully you're successful and you don't ever have to use this, all right? But that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is, if it's right here and we're going, hey, bud, I don't want to do anything, pow! Step away, hit, okay? Again, boom, okay? And he's coming for the face, go. See what I mean? So he's coming for my face. I have to lean back when he does that or else I'm going to get hit, all right? So when he does it, I just move. All right, so that's all you got to do. There's a drill specifically for this in Wing Chun, and it's literally a Jeet Kune versus a Jeet Kune. So he's going to throw a punch, shift with it, and then shift with it, shift with it. One person goes over the top for a little while, and then we switch. Now, you don't have to do anything special to switch, okay? Just keep throwing your punch. I can beat him to the punch when I choose to. The same for him, okay? You're not going super fast doing this. You're taking your time. You're learning the angle. You're learning how it feels to get hit. You're getting your arms into that sensation so it doesn't hurt you when you're doing it. Okay, that's another reason why we have the wooden dummy in Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do. It conditions the arms and the legs. All right, so when you're doing it, just smooth. Okay? Now, Jeet Kune doesn't necessarily always have to go to the face. All right, it can go to the body as well. He throws that punch, boom. All right, I get out of the way, boom. Notice I'm not really blocking with this hand. I'm just putting it where it's supposed to be as far as a Wu Sao guarding hand, and then I hit him in the ribs. This is just shifting my trajectory from here to here, okay? Now, when I hit here, this is going to veer his body off, but his arm is still coming straight at me, okay? His fist is still coming straight to my face. In this particular variation, I am not parrying his arm with my arm. I have to get out of the way, step out, and then hit. Okay? Jeet Kune literally means intercepting fist. All right? Intercepting, you're just intercepting strikes. You know, or the hand. In my case, I like to use the variation up top. Go. All right. And go into something else. All right. So I hit, boom, he gets rattled. He might veer very far away from me. I'll kick his leg, all right? Or, you know, get a little Bruce Lee-esque, all right? He hits, boom, boom, boom. Wah! You know, do all that stuff, even the noises, all right? Now, with that said, all right, when you do this, you can do this with an open hand, all right? Boom. You can do this with PUG, thrusting fingers. You can do this with a slap. You can do this with a hook. You can do this with an uppercut. Okay? It's an intercepting fist. There are different variations. All right? Just like multiple techniques. All right? There's not one set way. And before people get on me all over YouTube, comments, by all means comment, negative or positive. It doesn't matter. It's fun. I like communicating with you guys. All right, so comment below. But before you get on me being a purist, all right, it's self-expression. Not one of us is going to do it exactly the same as a person who taught you or the person you're emulating or copying it from or whatever. Not one of us. Not one of us is Bruce Lee. Not one of us is Ip Man. Not one of us is, you know, I'm not my dad, who was a martial artist. You know, he's not going to be exactly like me, and he's my student for a very long period of time. My son, my daughter, nobody. None of us are going to be exactly the same. These techniques are to be utilized for your own self-expression. Now, train them in the traditional format. Add some modern-day variety. Okay? Don't just train Wing Chun versus Wing Chun forever and think you're going to beat everything. Don't just, you know, think... You know, if you're practicing Jeet Kune Do, practice Jeet Kune Do. You know, and Jeet Kune Do, as the way I believe it, Bruce Lee meant it to be, you know, an amalgamation of everything that makes you who you are. So you take Wing Chun at its core, you add boxing, fencing, like he did, you know, Kali if you want, if not wrestling, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, you know, it's a mix and match. Not one person has the same puzzle pieces, all right? So it's completely up to you. What works for you? Some people are way more comfortable on the ground. Some people are comfortable on their feet. Some people are comfortable moving around a lot. Some people are comfortable standing their ground. Figure it out and then express yourself, all right? So finally, what we're going to do here is we're going to show you the impact variance on how Jeet Kune Do will actually work, all right? While Isaac gets prepared, I'll get my gloves on here so I don't hurt my own knuckles on the helmet he's putting on. And I'm not going to hit him full blast, but I'm going to hit him hard enough for you guys to notice the impact. All right? Now, Isaac's going to come at me with a full blast punch. Okay? And so you guys can see how it works. All right? So... now, let's say we're already in the fight. We've got our hands up. We're ready to go. Okay? So, he goes. You kind of get the point. All right? So that's Jeet Kune Do. If you have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button. Get notified next time something's coming up. And whether you like it or hate it, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see next, what you want me to work on, and we'll get to it. All right? Thank you very much.
We got more techniques just like this one to come here on Street Kung Fu. Hit that subscribe button.